Hello and welcome to our video presentation. I want to thank you for joining us today and for meeting us at the wall. In April of 2018, the mobile version of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall made a visit to Cookeville, Tennessee. Attempting to either date or describe the Vietnam War or conflict are each quite complex. Part of the reason for this is that the nature of the relationship evolved and changed significantly over time. Although the dates of the Vietnam War or conflict are commonly given as November 1955 to the fall of Saigon on April 30, 1975, the United States was involved in providing military advisors as early as 1950. An independent Vietnamese state was formed in 939, following a Vietnamese victory in the Battle of Bac Dang River. Successive Vietnamese imperial dynasties flourished as the nation expanded geographically and politically into Southeast Asia, until the Indochina Peninsula was colonized by the French in the mid-19th century. Vietnam's independence was gradually eroded by France, aided by large Catholic militias, in a series of military conquests between 1859 and 1885. The defeat of French and Vietnamese loyalists in the 1954 Battle of Dien Bien Phu allowed Ho Chi Minh to negotiate a ceasefire from a favorable position at the subsequent Geneva Conference. In September 1950, the United States created a Military Assistance and Advisory Group, MAAG, to screen French requests for aid, advise on strategy, and train Vietnamese soldiers. The Kennedy administration remained essentially committed to the Cold War foreign policy inherited from the Truman and Eisenhower administrations. By November 1963, there were 16,000 American military personnel in South Vietnam, up from Eisenhower's 900 advisors. On March 8, 1965, 3,500 U.S. Marines were dispatched to South Vietnam. This marked the beginning of the American Ground War. U.S. public opinion overwhelmingly supported the deployment. The first deployment of 3,500 in March 1965 was increased to nearly 200,000 by December. However, on January 30, 1968, the NVA and the Viet Cong broke the truce that traditionally accompanied the Tet, Lunar New Year, holiday by launching the largest battle of the war, the Tet Offensive, in the hope of sparking a national uprising. Over 100 cities were attacked by over 85,000 enemy troops, including assaults on General Westmoreland's headquarters and the U.S. Embassy in Saigon. U.S. President Richard Nixon began troop withdrawals in 1969. On January 15, 1973, Nixon announced the suspension of offensive action against North Vietnam. The Paris Peace Accords on ending the war and restoring peace in Vietnam were signed on January 27, 1973, officially ending direct U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War. On March 10, 1975, General Deng launched Campaign 275, a limited offensive into the Central Highlands, supported by tanks and heavy artillery. Secretary of Defense James R. Schlesinger announced early in the morning of April 29, 1975 the evacuation from Saigon by helicopter of the last U.S. diplomatic, military, and civilian personnel. The Vietnam Veterans Memorial is actually composed of three different, but related, memorials located on the site. The Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall, the Three Servicemen Memorial, the Vietnam Women's Memorial. These three memorials are located at the west end of the National Mall near the Lincoln Memorial. The true version of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall is located in Washington, D.C. The best-known part of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial is the Memorial Wall, etched with the names of the 58,318 men and women killed in Vietnam. Each wall section is 246-foot 9-inch walls in width. One wall points toward the Washington Monument, the other in the direction of the Lincoln Memorial, meeting at an angle of 125 degrees. Each wall has 72 panels. A short distance away from the wall is another Vietnam memorial, a bronze statue named the Three Servicemen Memorial, sometimes called the Three Soldiers. The statue depicts three soldiers, purposefully identifiable as European American, African American, and Hispanic American. Also in the memorial area is the Vietnam Women's Memorial. This memorial is dedicated to the women of the United States who served in the Vietnam War, most of whom were nurses. It serves as a reminder of the importance of women in the conflict. It depicts three uniformed women with a wounded soldier. The three memorials located near each other are presented and described as memorials to those who served and those who died in Vietnam. These memorials should not be taken as being a monument to war but a memorial to those who served. At various points during the design of each memorial, care was taken to be sensitive to the sentiments regarding the Vietnam War. Though these memorials are specifically devoted to participants of the Vietnam War, we should recognize that they also serve as recognition of the veterans of the various wars and military conflicts of our nation. Conflicts which have persisted from the creation of the nation until the present day. Almost all Americans have feelings of love or loyalty to our country. Commonly this is referred to as patriotism. However, we may choose to express our patriotism in a variety of ways. Service in the U.S. military requires that one swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. This is expressed as a commitment to the Constitution and the nation, not a commitment to any particular person, political position, or political party. Many who are no longer on active duty still feel a strong commitment to this oath. Frequently we hear the expression, "My country, right or wrong?" which seems to be based on a statement by a Stephen Decatur, originally made in an after-dinner toast of 1816 to 1820. Our country. In her intercourse with foreign nations may she always be in the right, but right or wrong, our country. However, I prefer a version credited to a Carl Schurz in 1827. My country, right or wrong, if right, to be kept right, and if wrong, to be set right. Schurz was a rather interesting American citizen. While born in Germany, during the American Civil War he served in the Union Army, being promoted to Major General by the end of the war. After the war as a newspaper editor in Detroit and then St. Louis, where he hired a young Joseph Pulitzer as a cub reporter. In 1868 he was elected as a U.S. Senator. President Hayes appointed him Secretary of the Interior in 1876, where he served until 1881. Many Americans tend to turn to song to express their patriotism. These songs may be traditional favorites such as God Bless America, or more contemporary choices such as This Land Is Your Land or This Is My Country. A valuable source of the lyrics for a number of popular American patriotic songs is the website Scout Songs.